All right. How you doing? My name is Leeboy, and welcome back to Leeboy Superhero Talk. We're gonna be talking about none other than the movie that's breaking records, breaking hearts, and taking names. None other than the Infinity War. Okay, Avengers: Infinity War has opened up this weekend, and oh my goodness, it was great. Movie. The movie was awesome. Okay, the movie was top notch. Ahead of its class. The movie is definitely the greatest superhero movie of all time. I'm gonna put it out there and say that. I'm gonna say that it's the greatest superhero movie of all time. You may not like that, you may disagree with that, and you're entitled to your own opinion, but guess what? I don't give a damn. Because when you're doing what this movie is doing, when you breaking numbers the way this movie is, and when you watch this movie, the camaraderie, as I can say it, the camaraderie of the characters together, it's unparalleled, it's unmatched. It makes the 10 years that you've waited for this, the culmination of all this together for 10 years has finally paid off. And like I said before, I mean, Black Panther did it before this movie, but this movie is going to hit the billy. It's definitely going to hit that billy. Easy, quick, fast, in a hurry. People have watched it 3 times, 4 times. I've seen the movie 3 times already prior to making this video. And it's amazing. It's truly a work of art. It is a masterpiece in the superhero genre. But let's get into some stuff. This is a fully spoiler, I guess, take on the Avengers. So you haven't seen the movie, you gotta go. Do not watch the rest of this. Go watch the movie. You should not be here if you haven't seen the movie yet. But if you have seen the movie and you just want to talk and listen to some stuff about it, then this is the video for you, okay? I'm going in totally, all the spoilers are going to be here. So definitely be warned if you haven't seen it already. Get your milk, your cookies, and all that other stuff that you need. I'm going to take a sip of this orange juice. And we're going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about some topics here. Thanos versus the Hulk. All right. And the Incredible Hulk versus Thanos. Now, that fight, Thanos gave Hulk the business, okay? He gave your boy the work, okay? Thanos, he was putting in them hands on the Incredible Hulk, and it was like nobody's done that to him before. I mean, he put the work on that boy so bad throughout the rest of the movie. Did you guys see that the Incredible Hulk did not want to come out? That's how bad Thanos put it on him. The Incredible Hulk, the man that's the strongest there is, did not want to come out. Because your man put the beats on him in that movie. The movie starts off the way you want a superhero movie of this caliber to start off. It starts off with a fight between Thanos and the Incredible Hulk. After Loki, you know, there's like a replay or them touching back on the Avengers, the first one, where, you know, Loki for the first time meets Iron Man, and Iron Man tells him, well, Loki's like, I got an army. And Iron Man's like, well, we got a Hulk. Okay. So Loki was like, I'm not an Asgardian, and we got a Hulk. And Hulk comes out of nowhere, starts putting the beats on your man Thanos, but then Thanos was the one that really was Mr. Miyagi in it at the end right there. Okay, so your man, the Incredible Hulk, was so pet, and he did not want to come out for the rest of the movie. But let me say this. I have to say this. If you've seen the movie, I think here's the real reason why the Incredible Hulk didn't show up in the movie, okay? No, excuse me, or hasn't shown himself throughout the rest of the Infinity War movie. One, they didn't have the budget. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna just say it like that. I honestly felt like they didn't put him in there because it was too much CGI work they would have had to do for the Incredible Hulk and Thanos. They just couldn't do it. That's why Thanos, for the most of the movie, he didn't have on the armored suit. Your man had on that blue wife beater. Okay, that was it. He walked around like Debo in a blue wife beater t-shirt, claiming the other gems. All right, he didn't have armor on. He didn't have the helmet we normally see him in with the shoulder pads. He ain't had none of that. Your man walked around the whole movie with the damn blue wife beater on. Okay, it was too much money, I'm guessing, for them to render him and render the Hulk. So the Hulk had to take a back seat. So it wasn't really that he didn't want to come out. It was the fact that he couldn't come out due to budget reasons, all right? That's just me. That's how I see it. Think about it. I mean, they really had enough money to render him and, you know, Thanos. They probably, I mean, of course they did. But I'm just saying, that took a long damn time to damn CGI the Hulk and damn CGI the Thanos. And they had to put a lot more emphasis on him. Thanos looked real good in this movie compared to how he looked at when we first saw him. I know I made jokes online about how his complexion was looking, but they fixed it up. They actually fixed it before they released it. And good job on that, Marvel. But again, Thanos and versus the Incredible Hulk, Hulk went down. He didn't want to show up for the rest of the movie. And then Thanos the movie starts with him off in the Asgardians. He's attacking a ship. Now, if you watch Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok, those two things go hand in hand because those two storylines intertwine to tell you what's going on in the beginning of the movie, because Thanos kills off half the population of the Asgards. All right. Idris Elba, he takes an L. You know, I didn't see that coming, but yeah, he takes an L. And then did y'all hear the way let's get to Loki. Let's get to that. The way he snapped Loki's neck, okay? Loki's neck, to the point it made like this weird pop sound. It sounded like he was opening up a Snapple bottle, okay? He used his neck and opened it up like it was a Snapple bottle. Your man said, like it's a, that's what his neck did. You know what I mean? I know I'm making the real bad sound effects, but I mean, come on. Your man neck got popped like a Snapple bottle. Okay, and Iron Man, as they moved on, Pepper Potts, Iron Man's talking about the future. That's why I believe Iron Man is going to be the dude. Well, a lot of people picked him to be the person that was going to be often out of the movie, which I actually thought too. I was in that campaign that Iron Man was going to be one of the people that was going to be out of the movie. But it seems like to me, either Iron Man or Thor are going to be the ones to take down Thanos. I could totally be wrong. I know for a fact, when you watched it, when it gets down to Doctor Strange gives up the stone. He gives up the time stone. And remember, he's seen all these different possibilities. And one of them was the one that led to victory. Now, Doctor Strange clearly made it known to both Spider-Man and Iron Man, if it came down to it, he would not hesitate to sacrifice them to save the universe and keep that stone. There is something that Doctor Strange saw in the possibilities that led to Tony Stark. And I'm just foreshadowing to me of what's going to come in the next movie of Tony taking him down. Now, how would that be that Robert Downey Jr., who revitalized his career as Iron Man, who basically kickstarted off the MCU, which, that's debatable. But anyway, for the cinematic universe of Marvel comic books and Marvel Studios, Tony Stark's Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. kickstarted all of this stuff off. And how fitting would that be for where they at right now as far as the cinematic universe, for him to be the one to take out Thanos? You know what I mean? Is he going to be the one to sacrifice himself to save everybody? It would make sense that, that's basically coming full circle. That's just my prediction of what's going to happen in the future. I might say it again at the end of this video, but I think at the end of it all, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be the one with Iron Man, or as Iron Man rather, is going to be the one to take down Thanos. It's like they're foreshadowing that, either him or Thor, because there was also things looking like they were going to talk about, with Thor later on when I get to that point. But Civil War is still present. The effects of Civil War is still present as Iron Man links back up with Bruce Banner, gets him up to speed about what happened and what's been going on. And Banner tells Tony about the encounter that he had with Thanos. So Civil War is definitely present in the movie. Of course, we got our Stan Lee cameo. He's on the Spider-Man bus. Bruce Banner, like I told you, won't transform into the Hulk because your man, the Incredible Hulk, is definitely petrified of Thanos. And that Infinity Gauntlet, we see the Spider-Man. We got the Spider-Man with the spider suit. That new Iron Spider-Man suit is dope. I mean, I'm so glad he did not take that suit in the previous movie, because it really paid off this movie. That was like the icing on the cake. He brought that back. And as the fans, I mean, again, as fans of the comic books and superhero stuff, I really think that, you know, watching the previous movies, and if you watch them all, you really do get a payoff. Like, they really did pay it off. I mean, the only thing that kind of got me was that two of the stones wasn't even in the movie. Like, they were on these planets that we don't know nothing about, you know, that didn't, I don't even think they got mentioned in the other movies. And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you guys know, maybe I missed something in the other movies, but there was two stones in this movie that we didn't even get in previous movies. There was no stone in Black Panther. Everybody was talking about maybe the other stone was in Wakanda, you know, and maybe that's how it was with the vibranium and stuff like that, but that didn't even happen. But it was two stones that wasn't even mentioned on any of the other movies. So again, hit the comment section below, let me know if I was wrong about that. But again, we got Thor versus the Guardians, which was funny, cause we see that, Thor is teaming up with, you know, the Guardians, and Star-Lord is trying to copy Thor's voice. I thought that was hella funny, and he kept calling, Rocket, Rabbit, which is, which obviously Thor don't know what the heck a rabbit is if he keeps calling something that looks like a raccoon a rabbit. Where's his mindset at? But then again, Thor was only working with one eye, right? He was working with one eye. That's the best I can give you for right now as far as why he thought a raccoon was a rabbit. I can't help you on that one. I really can't. Then we get, you know, we fast forward to, you know, Elizabeth Olsen dealing with Vision and their little relationship. And anybody notice that Elizabeth Olsen totally dropped the Russian accent? Like, she's not even speaking Russian no more. She just said the hell with it. You know, she just was like chilling with Vision and was like, I'm gonna just drop the accent for right now. We're just gonna keep it homey and keep it chill. And that's until, you know, Thanos peeps show up and it was on. That was one of the, I'm not gonna say it was the best fight scene in the movie, but man, the fight scenes in this entire movie was great. They were done at the right times. And I really felt overall this movie was more like a comic book. It was like a living, breathing comic book. Every scene it was like I was watching panels. It was like I wasn't watching the movies, like I was watching a walking comic book. That's why I think this movie was just great. Guardians, versus Thanos, you know, that was something that they had in the book. But it wasn't something, again, it's like an Easter egg more than anything when he turned Mantis into like this spool of puddle or something like that, like a paper mache or something like that, and he turned Drax into blocks. That was something that he did to, I believe, Nebula and his brother in the comic books. Thanos did that to them. He didn't really do it to Drax or Mantis in the comic books, but you know, everything had just little substitutes. Like, I'm hearing that there won't be no Adam Warlock. He was one of the biggest things I was actually looking forward to. They had to cut him from the movie. I think the person that's going to probably embody Adam Warlock in this movie most likely will probably Doctor Strange. I could be totally wrong, but I honestly think that Doctor Strange is going to be the person that embodies the character of Adam Warlock for the Infinity War. Just like Red Skull, again, he was there and he had on a robe and you didn't see his face, but he was the embodiment of death. No, we didn't get Mistress Death, but we got Red Skull. Red Skull has a skull face. He was wearing a hood cloak, you know what I'm saying, by the Soul Stone. So yeah, he's supposed to be like the embodiment, I guess, of death or taking Death's spot. But good thing is we won't be seeing Thanos locking lips with Red Skull. That's the great thing. We won't be seeing that. No. We will not be seeing that. Let me get a clap on that. No. I don't want to see it. So, getting back to, you know, the Thanos and Gamora relationship, as I mentioned in Red Skull, because Red Skull mentioned to Thanos that you're going to have to give up something that you love in order to get this stone. Now, if you made it to this part of the movie, when you was watching it, oh my goodness. If you made it to this part of the movie when you was watching it, you already know how it had you. Because all of this time, Gamora thinking that this guy is just ruthless, he's heartless, and he was really, really genuinely caring for his daughter. And I don't think he brought her there to do that. I don't think he knew that. Now, had he not brought her there, your man would have been asked out. I'm sorry. he would have been totally assed out because he had nothing to give up to actually get that stone. I think he would just been there standing there because he doesn't have her there. But because he brought her there, which I thought was just coincidence at that time, you know, the look he had on his face, you know, gave her some food for thought and was like, you know, it was really crazy. And then, do you guys remember the part when he tried to offer her food right before they got to the whole soulstone thing? The look on her face when he tried to give her food, she was like, "Really, my G? Really?" And she took the cup and she threw it at his seat where he sits at. I thought that was really funny. But it's really clear that, you know, Thanos' relationship with Gamora is actually more than meets the eye, even though she doesn't like him and he pretends not to like her, but he really does care for her. And you could tell deep down inside she really cares for him because she started crying when she thought she killed him, but that didn't happen at all. And we also know that Thanos doesn't give a damn about Nebula, okay? He turned her into Megatron and was sitting there breaking her down into pieces. So he really doesn't care about Nebula at all. It's even to the point where, which I thought was hilarious, is when he told Gamora that, you know, the stone better be here, okay, for your sister's sake. Like, like, I'm not gonna hurt you, but I'm gonna go back and punish her, you know. And Gamora really thought that lying to him was a good idea. I didn't think that was a smart thing to do. I think she could have probably prolonged it for a while. You know, there's other ways to do things, but she was sitting there trying to lie to this dude who had this, you know, gems that was able to warp reality and do all kinds of things. I don't think that was a really smart move on Gamora's part. But when he threw her off the cliff, the part that had everybody in suspense and was holding her for a long time is when he threw her off the cliff, and it was like, wow. And then you get to see the depth of emotion that Thanos actually had, because the character of him, people may look at him as a bad guy, but he doesn't see himself that way. Gamora sees him that way, but Thanos has a clear, steady vision. If anybody read the comic books, dealing with the Infinity Gauntlet, it takes a certain kind of mind to wield the gauntlet. Like, you gotta have a mind that's dedicated to a certain cause. Your mind has to be clear and your vision has to be clear. If that's not what's on your mind, if it's not in that set order, the gauntlet overtakes you. That's what happened when, again, spoiler. You listening to this is a spoiler. Nebula actually takes the gauntlet in the comic book, and she was unable to actually harness the actual power of the gauntlet because her mindset wasn't on the same level as Thanos. Now, let me explain this again. The gauntlet, again, you got to have a clear mind and a clear path. What I mean by clear mind, you have to be pure of heart and then like that. I didn't say pure of heart. I said a clear mind, meaning your focus on what you want to do with this thing has to be made clear and it has to be precise. That's the reason why Thanos is so powerful when he has that gauntlet, because he has a clear vision on what he wants to do with this gauntlet. You just can't put that on and not know what you're trying to do with it, because it's going to overtake you. It's that kind of mind you have to have when wielding a gauntlet. And we can see throughout the whole course of the movie is that his mindset is to wipe out half the population. That way the other people can flourish and, you know, it's funny because it's a lot of things. If I'm about to go into Justice League territory, which you guys are going to be laughing at me for. He wants to wipe out half the population that way so people can flourish. Things can grow. People could sit there and take advantage of not having so many things populated and polluted. He feels that, you know, people need a fresh start and a start over. If you do this everywhere, people can prosper. That's his mindset. It's depopulation. Now, let's not cover this up on what it is. Your man Thanos has the same idea as some people that have in the government. They want to sit here and depopulate people. And that's what Thanos did. He said, forget poisoning people. I'm going to just go with this gauntlet and do it all across the world. Okay, wipe out half the universe, and there we go. Okay, but here's the thing, Thanos. You didn't think about coming to people's planets and sitting there trying to help them grow food, help world peace. Like, you got all of this stuff and you want to sit there and depopulate people. Like, what the hell? He didn't sit there and think about none of that. Nah, I ain't got time for that. Listen, I ain't got time to grow no fruits. I ain't got no time to fix vegetables and fix your economy and fix world peace. Nah, I'm going to kill off half of y'all and y'all fix that your damn self. No, that's his mindset. Okay. And the thing about it is, it's like he really feels in his heart of hearts by what he's doing is that he's helping people. Like, he doesn't really seem like people in the comic book, they was calling him the Mad Titan. He was doing it for Mistress Death. But in the movie, I felt like Thanos was actually had a set vision on really trying to help people, but it was like nobody saw his side of things. But I can't see his side of things only because, yeah, Thanos, you could have came and fixed food, help with the population as far as educate. He could have done all kinds of increased education. He could have done all kinds of things. And you want, and your idea of fixing stuff, when you can change reality, do whatever you want, remake stuff, your idea is wipe off half. Oh man, what political person would vote for this dude? But anyway, Thor had a speech that had me, you know, really thinking about him being another person that might be able to take Thanos out, because he said he lived 15,000 years. He's 15,000 years old, and he killed twice as many enemies, and everyone who tried to kill him, you know, hasn't succeeded, and he's the only one that fate has left alive, you know. So Thanos is just one of many, you know, the bastards who are going to fall and feel the wrath of Thor. You know, something along those lines he said. And it made me think that he might actually be the person to do it. Because at the end of the movie, as you can clearly see, he got the closest to taking this guy out. And we all know Thor ain't even touched the tip of the iceberg with his powers on what he can actually really do. So that's something in itself. If you haven't seen, gotta see the movie. I don't know if you still listening to me, you ain't see the movie yet. All right. That's cop cars in the background. This is going to be unedited. I'm not even going to try to sit here and edit 20 something minutes of damn audio with stuff in the background. You're just going to have to deal with it. Now, with that being said, when we get toward the end of the movie, and we watch Thanos sit down after he done did everything that he set out to accomplish and do, it's like he has a bittersweet moment. It's like, I had to sacrifice Gamora. And that's the thing. Once he did that, there was no turning back. I mean, if there was a way to talk him out of what he was doing, after that point, there was no going back, all right? I'm here to cause destruction. So at that point, there was no going back on his plan and on his word. And he sits down and he sort of has this half cracked smile on his face. Like, I did it. I did what I said I wanted to do. Now, a lot of people may seem like he's been maniacal. Okay. They might think he's maniacal and say that, you know, Thanos was a true indeed, villain throughout this whole movie. But I gotta say he was more half and half. It was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes for my vision of saving society, actually, because that's what he's thinking, to have it accomplished, whether it's to take out Thor's brother, whether it's to snap this dude or do all these other things. I think that's how Thanos was looking at it, and that's the reason why he was telling Gamora, like, you at one time was on the same path that I was on, you know? And Gamora probably came around and was like, nah, dude, we ain't gotta do that. We can go there and plant vegetables. We ain't gotta kill off the population of Earth. We can go there and grow some vegetables, dude. You know what I'm saying? We can stop world peace and hunger and all that other stuff. But nah, you want to sit there and have them do it themselves. Oh boy, Thanos. And Star-Lord. What were you thinking, Star-Lord? They had the gauntlet off of his hand and you sat there and you messed everything up, man, because you let your feelings get in the way. And Star-Lord was actually, to me, in this movie, way better than he was in any of the previous movies. I mean, I think that's because of the dynamics and what was on the line as far as Infinity War goes. Because I really enjoyed Stark. Did you see him? He was really taking, who did he meet up with? I believe he met up with Iron Man and Spider-Man. Yo, he had Spider-Man at gunpoint, bro. Like, who does that? Star-Lord, okay? He had Spider-Man at gunpoint. Like, he like this is what you gonna do? Like, listen, if you guys move, the kid, he gets it. How does Star-Lord get to that point? I mean, when the battery is in his back, which has been proven, but then again, he's kind of half like God or something like that, and then half human or something. Whatever. But anyway, again, what does this mean for the future going forward? Marvel next movie, Infinity War. From what I'm hearing is that they're not gonna call it the Infinity War Part 2. I believe they're going to have a different name for it. I could be wrong on that, but from what I'm hearing, they're going to change the name of it to Avengers something. It's going to be something different. It's not going to be called Infinity War because the war is over. Okay. He basically won. He got what was done accomplished. Thanos did what he set out to do. And I think that they said they're going to change the name to the next movie to something else. And maybe Infinity Gauntlet, maybe something. I don't know. I'm just making that up as far as the name. But I did hear that they're going to change the name of the movie. It's not going to be Infinity War Part 2. So, again, it's breaking records. If you haven't seen it already, if you like the spoilers in this and I messed the movie up for you, I'm sorry. I warned you at the beginning to go check that out. Another thing about the movie I liked is the fact that the camaraderie between the characters. The camaraderie between, you know, Thor and the Guardians, between Spider-Man, and every time Iron Man and Doctor Strange got on the screen, I loved it. It was like that dialogue, that witty dialogue between those two. And it was a back and forth thing. Sometimes Captain America can't hang with Iron Man, but Doctor Strange was hanging with Iron Man in this one. But again, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is like so natural to him. I want to know how much of that stuff is scripted and how much of that stuff is actually improvised. Because in this movie, it was just great. And oh, the suits Iron Man got. My gosh. They say he up to some name of this suit that he got with the nanotechnology that just forms on his body. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Iron Man in this movie really impressed me. As far as the fights go, when it got down to the fighting, I really was impressed by Iron Man out of everybody. And there was a lot of fight scenes in this movie. Black Panther at the end when it came to Wakanda and he had to help out with, the help of Bucky, Captain America, Black Widow, Falcon, War Machine, Bruce Banner, who was inside of a Hulkbuster suit because he can't change into the Hulk. All of that stuff was dope. And the very end scene, I think I skipped that before I even talked about it, was when Thanos got Vision to come back when he reversed time on him. It was like Scarlet Witch did all of this work to get the stone out of Vision's head and break it and shatter it just for Thanos to reverse time and rip it out of his head. Oh man, that was dope. I wasn't disappointed. I mean, this movie definitely delivered on all scales. And I gotta say that this movie, I can't even give it a rating. This movie to me right now, as it stands, and I've seen it 3 times, is definitely in a class of its own. Even without, one of my biggest gripes before even seeing the movie was there was no Adam Warlock, and I knew he wasn't going to be in the movie. Now, there are things that, I'm pretty sure they could have done better, but the screen time, the camaraderie between the characters, 10 years of putting this all together, and it was like nobody was out of place, nobody was out of touch. It was like nobody was searching for who their character is. Everybody clearly knew who they was going into this movie, and without a shadow of a doubt, everything clicked. Everything clicked. It was like nobody skipped a beat. There was no hesitations and movements. There was nothing that made it feel like this wasn't a cinematic comic book on the screen. It was great. It was the movie, hands down. I can't even give it a rating. I'm sorry. I cannot give this movie a rating. I can't even give it, because it's like if I say it's a 10, then people are going to sit there and get mad and say, well, it's not really a 10. It's actually a 9.5 because of this, that, and the third. You can give it whatever you want. I can't even rate this movie right now, bro, because I felt like this movie was just that good. It was to the point that this movie was so good that people outside of comic books who don't know nothing about it went to see the movie, and when you ask them how did they like it, they'll tell you go see the movie. I ain't even see a whole bunch of spoilers about this movie because people's response was, you have to go see this movie. And that's how good it is. I've seen the Rotten Tomatoes scores for it, but I don't give a damn about Rotten Tomatoes. I don't give a damn about the score that they put up. I'm telling you right now, at this moment, until I guess I see it another 5 to 10 more times, I can't give it a rating. I know I'm not giving it less than, I know if my hand was twisted, I cannot give this movie less than, out of 5, I can't give it less than 4.5. I can't. I really can't. I want to say 5. I want to say 10 out of 10. I want to say 5 stars. I want to say that so badly, but it's like the movie to me is so good. It shouldn't even have its own rating. It should just sit there. take it for what it is, because it's a masterpiece. It is now the standard for all comic book movies. It is the standard. Now, Black Panther as a single standalone person chilling by himself, people have it as one of the highest movies ever standing by itself. But I still think Blade, Winter Soldier, you know, those movies are pretty damn good to me. But as far as when we talking about this team up, we're talking about the structure of a comic book movie in general. Hands down, this is what you want to see when it comes to watching comic books unfold on the screen. No doubt. No doubt. All right. Once again, my name is Leeboy, and if you have any rebuttals to what I'm saying in this, hit me in the comment section below. Let me know what parts got you, what parts you didn't like, what parts did you like. Okay, do you agree that it shouldn't have a rating, that this thing is such a masterpiece? It is such a classic. It is going down as one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. All right. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.